Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on how to use Instagram to market your small business. I'm Bob Hogan, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County. I'm going to be your host today, and our presenter is Lorraine Duncan. More on Lorraine in just a minute, but first some brief information on SCORE. SCORE is a national organization with over 11,000 volunteers across the country, and we're part of the Small Business Administration of the federal government. Locally here in Fairfield County, we have over 130 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. And we offer three primary value-added services to our small business owners. First of all, we offer free one-on-one counseling, and you can obtain that by face-to-face, but in these days it's via video, and you can also do it by telephone, email, and you can access that by clicking on the link that you see on the screen, or you can go to our website, fairfieldcounty.score.org, and click on the link, Request a Mentor. We also offer about 150 educational workshops and webinars like this one during the course of the year. And lastly, we offer extensive resources on our website. And when you access that, you can get a lot of process and subject matter expertise at your disposal. And you'll also find on our website archived webinars on a wide range of topics that you can access. So if you've seen some of our webinars in the past and want to go back to them, or you missed them on the live broadcast, then you can catch the recording. Our next webinar will be on Thursday at noon, and the topic is how to negotiate with impact, with Dorcia Carrillo presenting. And you can find more specifics on our website, fairfieldcounty.score.org. Just a few logistics for today's events. We have set aside time for questions and answers at the end of the presentation. But if you have a question, you could submit it at any time during the webinar, and Lorraine will take it at the end. And to do that, if you hover on your screen at the bottom and click on the chat window, please type in your question there. We will end our webinar promptly at 1 o'clock today to respect your time. And like all of our webinars, this session is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available on our website, fairfieldcounty.score.org, within the next couple of days. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Lorraine Duncan. Lorraine has over 20 years in business marketing and consulting experience. She runs her own digital marketing company, BizGone Social, where she advises small businesses how to utilize social media in their marketing and guides them to online marketing solutions. Lorraine is also the author of a book, Shout It Out, a social media marketing guide for business owners, and she teaches courses and speaks to groups on social media. It's now my pleasure to turn it over to Lorraine. Lorraine, it's all yours.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I'm going to get started right away because I have a lot of content and I want to cover it all. So you're here, you know you're at the right place. If it's how to use Instagram to market your small business. And so I just want to say this. Every day, 55 million photos are uploaded, 86.4 million comments are being posted, and 691.2 million users like various photos in their feeds on Instagram. So if your strategy includes marketing to Generation Y or millennials, Instagram is kind of a big deal. If you're a boomer and all the other generations, it's also a big deal. So I want to encourage you that if you're not using Instagram, everybody's on it and it's the place to be. So the question is, and this is what this course is really all about, is are you using it effectively? Are you really using Instagram effectively? So I had a bunch of bullet points that all cover these three areas: how to create an amazing bio, marketing effectively on Instagram, and taking your Instagram to the next level. So the bottom line is that it is a very important part of your marketing is how your Instagram app looks to other people. So I'm going to spend some time in each of these areas, and I hope at the end you have a lot of questions. And also at the end, I'm also going to let you have more information about me. So taking your Instagram to the next level. So the first thing is in establishing your Instagram presence is creating your brand or organization's profile through three main tasks. One is adding a profile picture, writing a bio, and connecting a website. Now you're probably thinking this is kind of an advanced class, but so why am I going over this? Because you wouldn't believe, even this morning while I was doing a client's Instagram, I found about 5 or 6 people that didn't even have a profile picture. So I just want to make sure that everybody, just to remind you all that these 3 things are the most important thing about your Instagram. So I wanted to share who's doing it right. And I just thought Starbucks is the way to go. I totally missed it during lockdown here, but the bottom line is that Starbucks coffee does it right. They're actually playing on what's going on in the environment today. So as you see, they have their logo. They have Starbucks coffee as their main headline here. And then in their little bio, they have inspiring and nurturing the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. And then the most important thing about this whole bio is this clickable link here. And basically it brings you to a little landing page about we're all in this together. So they do it well. And so if you're doing these 3 things, that would be an amazing thing. Now, today I looked at about several bios and they didn't even have a clickable link. And when you're making a post on Instagram, you can't have a clickable link. So the bottom line is this is really important. This is the only way if somebody wants to learn more about you, you know, the best thing to put there is your website. So I just wanted to, I'm going to show you examples all the way through this. So adding a profile picture is easy, you know, but it should represent your organization or your logo. For me, because I'm not a really big brand, I don't use my logo, the coffee cup. What I do is I put a picture of myself because I want people to identify with me. And your strategy, over time, people will start to remember your profile picture when scanning through their news feed. And you want them to remember that. So I highly recommend, if you're not a big brand yet, unless you're trying to really brand that logo, you use your own picture. If you are trying to brand your logo, then basically you definitely want to have a logo as your profile picture. A bio, okay? You have to have under 200 characters. And you should put some emojis, something that's going to attract them to your profile and make them read more. A couple things is why your Instagram, you want to say, so for instance, I do tips. So that's what I have on my Instagram bio. So what you want to have is either something that tells them what your Instagram page is going to be all about, and then you can talk about what services or products you offer. And you know, you can enhance your bio by encouraging users to share content relevant to your brand using the specific hashtag. So now the bio, a couple years ago, you couldn't, in fact, the last time I taught this course, hashtags weren't really important on the bio, but now you could put a couple hashtags. And if you want to brand your hashtag, in the beginning, you're not going to have a lot of people that are going to use your hashtag, but you want to make sure that people are using the hashtag. So connecting with a website is also very important. You got to drive them somewhere. Don't miss this opportunity. And so you want to make sure that you have something that you're going to connect them to. And basically the strategy behind that is ensure your URL directs users to a mobile friendly site, because most of the people that are on Instagram are on their mobile. Now you can use it from your desktop, but you just can't post from your desktop. You can now DM through your desktop, but most people use Instagram on their, phones. So here we go. This is the nitty gritty, marketing effectively on Instagram. So of course, once you created your profile and identify what types of posts your target audience will be interested, there are 4 main categories of successful and viral posts. And I wanted to show you that because I think showing you how is really important. I think that if, I could tell you that you should have, engaging branding content or behind the scenes content, but if I don't show you what others are doing, you're really never going to really get the real picture here. So I kind of like the way Lay's and Lululemon does theirs. They really are when it comes to brand centric content, because their logo is on everything, and they also they bring in the content to the brand with visuals covered with their logo. So if you see Lululemon, you see the little red logo on the bottom, and that's throughout there. Now they do a lot of videos, so they don't put their logo on a lot of stuff now, but pretty much you can tell what they're all about when you go to their page. And they're also, they wrap their page around a feeling. So that's what they're bringing. Frito-Lay's is the same thing, is that, you know, they're also telling a story, but it's loaded with their colors and their logo. So that's another thing that's really important to do. So a couple things about brand-centric content. Brands who use Instagram must understand the importance of brand storytelling. So, you know, I talked a little bit about that feeling. It's really important to, you want to bring something across. So like the strategy behind that is whether through photos of products or photos of results of their product, businesses are using Instagram effectively. They showcase what they have to offer. So you want to showcase it in a way that that your audience is going to interact with it is so important. So another brand that I love, and this is when it comes to reactive storytelling. So really when I think about Instagram, I think about not just the stories now I'm talking about, but I'm talking about even in the post. Everything that they post is reactive. So when you see their logo, it says here on the bottom, if you look at the bottom, near the bottom cookie, it says, "See the world through our Oriole wonder-filled lens." So, and then they also have a bit link that you can go to. So that's what's on their bio. So when you're looking at their Instagram, you're seeing, look, we're having coffee and Oreos. Look, there's a cookie jar with Oreos in it. Look, I'm holding my favorite coffee brand with an Oreo cookie. Look, I can even be artistic with my Oreo cookie. I mean, so there's so much that they're asking people to react to. And I feel like they do it right. So a couple things. The concept of reactive storytelling leverages a human truth, timely event, or unique insight to generate immediate feedback from their target audience. So, you know, when you see that coffee cup with the Oreo, what does that incite? To me, it incites, like, I love coffee, so it incites, man, I can have an Oreo, be all comfortable and cozy. And it's just, I want to buy an Oreo, you know? And if you're hungry, you're really going to want to buy an Oreo. So anyways, the strategy behind it, brands who use reactive storytelling tend to use references that are either meme-based or pop culture-based. And I'm going to go into very little bit of pop culture in a little bit. So reactive storytelling, what it does, it keeps everything top of the mind, interesting story, plus a brand relevant marketing message equals reactive storytelling. So remember that. The reason you're doing this type of a post is because you want your brand to be top of the mind. I don't have a picture of this right now, but if I say the word Coca-Cola, every single one of you you all have an image in your mind. The image that comes to my mind is the polar bear. And I love polar bears. So the bottom line is you know, and then of course you're going to think of a tagline. It's the real thing, Coke is. So there's so much, and what is it? Their Coca-Cola logo with the red in it, their script writing, which is the way that they do their Coca-Cola. Everything is about branding. And they bring in, you know, they tell really relevant stories around I mean, one time I actually saw a commercial with them having a Coke machine in some third world country. Well, that was brilliant. And it brought everybody to like that, oh my gosh, I want to go to one of those machines. And well, you know, there's Pepsi, there's Sprite, there's, you know, but you got the real thing, what Coke is. So I want you to just think about when you're creating your content calendar for you know, a great marketing strategy, make sure that you are reactive storytelling. So meme-based reactive storytelling. So, you know, you could do whatever you want to do with this. I sometimes think that memes are just overplayed a little bit, but Lego always, I love, you know, Lego puts this funny picture up, but then asks for audience engagement. And I believe at this point in their audience engagement, they already had 3,478. And so the bottom line is, you know, it gets engagement. The meme will get, but this was brilliant when they said insert a caption here, and they're showing you where to do it. And then people are giving their captions. And so that gets people involved. Then you have Talus doing this happy birthday, no. And everybody's just a couple things. People are telling people I wish I could show the feed, but in the feed, everybody's like talking about Talus. I don't know why it made them, this particular meme made them talk about Talus, but people are talking about how their dad works for them. It talks about how, they're talking about, they get involved in the little big cat here, or little tiger there, or not tiger, but lion there. I mean, so there's a lot of things that, and that right away from the start, I took a picture of this right when it started, and within 5 or 10 minutes, it already had, if you see the little heart there, it already had 83. So, it really is important that if you're going to do a meme, try to get people's engagement. Well, so ask a question. So meme-based reactive storytelling. Meme-based reactive storytelling is when brands leverage a popular meme and use it to communicate a brand of relevant message. So think about some of the memes you've seen over, it's funny, since this whole lockdown and quarantine and stuff, what happened is a lot of people have been on calls like this, Zoom calls. And so there's been plenty of memes about Zoom, but I saw a lot of companies that they were literally bringing their audience and their brand to Zoom in such a really creative way. And so the strategy is you want to generate buzz. And, if you think about some of the Geico commercials and some of, those commercials where, they had the gecko and some of the funny things he did and everything, it always generated buzz. I remember, having Super Bowl parties and talking about all those commercials. All those commercials generated some kind of buzz. And that's what you want to do. You want to generate buzz around your brand. So another company doing it right. It's all about brisk. And, they have this thing called I hit it first, and they're getting people to react with, it's like kind of pop culture based. And then they have another picture, I drank it first. And one of the things, if you can see the engagement, which is about 900, or it's either 561 or 900, all these things that I've posted have been in the begins. So I tried to get it as they were brand new. So they're bringing in some pop culture into it, and they're bringing in their brand brisk, and it's really, amazing. Plus they're, a pretty chick, and that's pretty much going to get some attention too. Also dogs and puppies always get a lot of attention. So think about that too. Pop culture based reactive storytelling. Pop culture is a driving force for media today and consumers. So the bottom line is that a lot of people have all like posh stores and all different kinds of, Etsy and all these really cool things. And it's really good to sell with pop culture. A lot of times I think of, what a lot of rappers are doing with pop culture right now with the hip hop. So if you can, if your brand could scream a little bit to pop culture, you need to think about how you're going to get their attention. I think about, the other day I saw an ad for like covers for your iPhone, and it wasn't really exciting for me, but like I was at an outdoor eating facility, and I was looking at some people talking at other tables, and a few of the like younger tables, they were all talking about their covers, on their iPhones. And I was thinking, that's kind of weird. But like, guess when they were at home, they ordered some covers and they had to have the coolest. But that's what you want to do. You want to be that driving force that's going to make people, that's going to bring the consumer's attention to your product or service, and also share content that references pop culture to drive engagement. So doing it right, a couple really cool things. This is behind the scenes. I have to tell you something, behind the scenes, I've seen so much engagement around behind the scenes. People like to know that you bleed and you're doing a good job bleeding like they are. So meaning they like to see, well, if you're working all day and you see it behind the scenes, well, oh my goodness. So Steam Whistle Brewing does an awesome job. They're showing how they're making their product. And then you have TechnoCrunch, who's showing the inner workings of the organization. Two very different brands doing awesome job in the begins. This is, I took pictures of that, but here you go. You've got a lot of engagement. And of course, I can guarantee you, if you see, you know, like they're just showing a picture of people, you know, in an assembly line at steam whistle brewing. But however, in the TechnoCrunch, they've got this big teddy bear. And again, that for some reason attracts, and you can even see, I actually took pictures of these two things at the same time, and you get much more engagement with the guy with the teddy bear. So think about behind the scenes. I know a lot of companies out there that do that really, really well. So behind the scenes content. The concept, people are looking for transparency. So like I said, they want to know you bleed the same way they do. They want to know, you know, that you're authentic, that you're of integrity. They want an inside look that really all the things that you say online, are you doing it inside? So the strategy behind it is the internet has made secrets a thing of the past. Brands are now looking at how they can be more authentic, as it's what consumers are asking for. I want to see what Coca-Cola and Starbucks are doing behind the scenes. I want to know if my brand cares about human life. I want to know these are the things that I interact with. What are the things that your ideal market will interact with, and you want to show them behind the scenes. So many companies do that right. I'll, like, for instance, when I'm on vacation or doing something and I'm still posting on social media, I'll give a behind the scenes. You know what? I don't want work 24 hours a day. I have fun too. It's important that if you're doing something you're passionate about, as somebody who's on the internet, you want to know that, you know, the internet is not my life. So, you know, some behind the scenes stuff is always good. Sometimes I'll bring people into my office. So you want to think about what you can do to create this behind the scenes. A great example that I always think of is I have a friend and a colleague of mine, Matt Byer, who actually is an organizer. He actually, during the lockdown, or whatever you want to call it, the quarantine, he started doing like these virtual audits. And, you know, he literally showed some, you know, how to fold sheets and stuff. And so he went behind the scenes of what his company is doing now. And it was brilliant, totally brilliant. So another is inspirational, motivational quotes. I feel that brands do this way too much, but if that's what your brand is about, like, so for instance, if you're a life coach or a high performance coach, these are great, but nothing like Lululemon and Ford, that even that commercial, if you remember that Ford commercial from one of the Super Bowls, it was amazing. It brought you right into the life experience. You know, it was amazing. And if you see, with those kind of inspirational, motivational quotes, they do get a lot of engagement and people can relate. I like to now do this whole thing called tap twice, because as soon as you tap a picture twice in your feed, it's going to like that post. So I like to tell people what to do in my posts, and, you know, so other people can come, or you can tag a friend, you know, especially like, for instance, with the quote, happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from our own actions. And if you know of a friend while you're reading this that could use this, then you can tag a friend in it. So I think these things are very engaging, and this is a good strategy to use. Very inspirational, motivational quotes are so good. Some stuff, the concept is sparking emotions. That's what we're trying to do. You know, it's like, for instance, I do social media marketing. You know, guess what? My ideal target sometimes is baby boomers. Well, my mother and father don't care about Facebook. They don't want to be on social media. So you want to spark some kind of emotion. Like, they don't want to do social media. A lot of business out there know that they need to be on social media. They know they need to be on Instagram, but they don't want to do it. So what do? I do it. I do it for them. So that is an emotion that I'm sparking in them. The same thing is like you're drinking a refreshing drink, and, you know, you want to inspire them, you know, with some really great quote, but you want to bring it back to, gosh, I feel this way, but I could really use, you know, that certain type of beer or that certain glass of wine, and you're sparking emotion with that inspirational, motivational quote. Strategy: the key to recognize what quotes will resonate with your audience and then deliver them in a beautiful way. Great way to do this is if you're posting a lot of quotes, what you want to do is you want to, how do I put this? You want to see how your audience is reacting to certain types of quotes. So sometimes there's just quotes that are, you know, just a matter of fact, they're real life, some of them are heart-wrenching, some of them are, you know, they strike emotion in itself. So you want to take those quotes and you want to look at all the ones that you posted, see which one does the best, and you want to kind of copy that and do similar posts to that. The same with the inspirational. To be honest with you, I don't know what inspirational quote doesn't work or inspirational story doesn't work, because I'm inspired by all of them. All right, so taking your Instagram to the next level. So there's a couple things I want to talk about here. You know, so now that your brand is developed a relationship, because all these posts you're doing, everything that you're doing is actually to be having a relationship with your audience. And I say this all the time. If you've gone to any of my other webinars, I will always say that relationship matters. It really is all about the relationship. Instagram, especially, they want to interact with your brand. So the three things that here I'm going to talk a little bit, not a lot. There's not enough time. I can spend hours on each of this. User-generated content, use hashtags, and have call to actions on images. So, you know, remember when I said tap twice, you know, that's a call to action. So let's get started with that. All right, so Frank and Oak is doing it right. In this case, it's a tie, you know. So on Fridays, they often run a contest called Necktie Fridays, where they encourage guys from all over the world to upload photos in their neckties for a chance to win a Frank and Oak tie. So that's brilliant, because it's their content. They're generating they're generating stuff with getting pictures from other people. So it's doing everything that they need to do. And, you know, if you see it, it's like brilliant. I think it's actually brilliant, to be honest with you. And so that's how, you know, that's another way you can get just an example of how you can get user generated content. And another way is you can also do a bunch of contests too, not just on Instagram, but you can do some stuff on Facebook, and then you could literally take some of those pictures and use them for your content in Instagram and do something really unique with it. So user-generated contest. So this is basically when users create content that's associated with a brand, that content combines with your story to develop an overarching brand story. I saw that done very well with ice cream, with this little mom and pop ice cream store. I've seen it done with different beers. I've seen it done with, what do you call them? Carabiners and the chalk dust things for climbing. So I've seen so many, and people showing their climbing pictures and using a certain carabiner or using a certain type of chalk bag that they keep their chalk dust in. So those are the things that you want to think about. The strategy, contests are user-generated content directly influenced by the brand, but done so in a unique way, in a compelling way. And think about how, because it's so brand related, what kind of brand thing can you give them when they complete the contest? Starbucks again does it right. I love this. This is an example of the usage of hashtags. They only used 4. One of them was snowflakes, holidays, chocolate, and share joy. 4 of them. And they generated over 63.9 thousand likes in 4 hours. So they did it right. And brilliant image, time period. Remember, it's a time period post here. It's around Christmas. They took advantage of the big hashtags, the most popular hashtags, and they generated lots of engagement and lots of likes. The use of hashtags on Instagram. Hashtags present a great opportunity to broaden the reach of your images. So what I want to say here is if you're not using hashtags, okay, you're not going to get do a post without one hashtag, okay? And you will not get any likes whatsoever. I've tested this over and over again. It's a fact. If you're not using hashtags, you're not going to get any engagement. So what I suggest, because this isn't a course about hashtags, is look to see what your competition is using for hashtags. Now it's a hashtag is, I like to explain it as a little like filing cabinet that has deeper files in it, and you look to see what file, like maybe for instance you have real estate, and then inside the real estate file you have a houses. You take all those different hashtags and you don't use all the hashtags that have 6 million people that have viewed that hashtag. You want to just kind of scatter it out a little bit, have a little bit of a couple over 1,000, have a couple in the 33,000s and above, have a couple in the 100,000s, and a couple in the millions. And you can use up to 30 hashtags. So that's all I'm going to say really about hashtags. The strategy, brands need to think about what hashtags are relevant to the different images they share and how they can leverage existing hashtags, trends. The other thing you want to think about is what hashtags is your audience or your ideal client searching when they're on Instagram. So call to action on images. Again, Brisk does it well. The score does it well. Call to actions on the images. You have, I'd like that twice. And then you have champion. And then in the champion image, they have this whole thing that says double tap. And I can't read what the whole thing says. But just a reminder that you can start using, if there's one tip today, start using this double tap concept to get more engagement on your, on your posts and stuff like that. Again, I try to do, one time is like, I wrote like how you feel. I do this whole thing, this or that. And I have, do you like this or do you like that? There's so many ways to get, so many different people to get them to do something when you put it on the post itself. So have a call to action on images. Instead of making the call to action in the text description that is associated with the image, many brands are including the call to action directly on the visual, which is what I showed you. So a strategy with this is another approach for driving interaction is giving users a this or a that choice, and then asking them to like for this or comment for that. Another thing you can do is share with a friend. So that's, really cool. All right, so, I'm almost done here, but it's important to identify and analyze your overarching digital plan and determine whether or not Instagram is a good fit for your audience. From there, it's a time to plan. So you need to plan that. And then, these tips and tricks will help you in the planning stage, everything I shared with you, but constantly push yourself to be innovative and think differently. Now, I'm almost done here, but as I was doing this, I happened to see one of the questions that came through that I'd like to cover as part of the webinar, because it looks like I have plenty of time here, at least another 10 minutes that I could be talking. So what I want to say is somebody asked about doing a campaign, and I'm going to do it as like getting people to get people on your emailing list. So I don't have any audio visual for this, but what I'm going to try to bring it through you. So I'm going to ask you to kind of close your eyes right now so you're not distracted by anything about what I'm saying here. So say that I want to get some people to my email list. I have a white paper on my website that's called How to Take the Overwhelm Out of Social Media. So I run a thing called Freebie Friday. And what I do is I offer that freebie. And what I do is I make a post. I have a post with the cover of that. And so I have, the cover of the little PDF, and then I have it on a little desktop, and then I put Freebie Friday, and I get people to actually click on the link. So what I do is in the post itself, in the content, right, I put, if you're overwhelmed with social media, download my free PDF. at Biz Gone Social. So I use the biz at sign in the post content itself. That actually gives you a clickable link. And when they hit the at Biz Gone Social, they go to my profile that I told you about earlier in this, that has to be, it has to be optimized. And what I mean by optimized, it has to have some kind of bit.ly link. And in my profile description, I have red arrows that point to that bit.ly link URL that they're going to go to and give me their name and their email address and download my free PDF. So here's the deal. Now probably somebody's saying what a bit.ly link is. So a couple things. Bit.ly actually is a little software that I have on my phone. I also have it on my desktop, that I take a long URL and I put it in the search bar that they have, or in the bar that they have, and it generates a shorter link. So a couple things why that's important. You only have a certain amount of characters to use in the URL on your profile, in your bio, and in your front Instagram page. So you want to definitely have a shortened link. And the other thing it does, it tracks it a little bit for me. So at least I know how many people clicked on that link. Now they'll also give you that information in the Instagram Insights, which is really important. And by the way, if you're running your business right now from a personal profile, you need to switch over to a business so you get those insights. And that's really all I'm going to say about that. I saw tons of questions come through. And what I want to say is, I want you to aspire to create compelling content and refuse to accept the belief that what others have done in the past must be replicated. Be original, be unique. Strive to create your own path and use Instagram to visually engage and connect with your audience. If you want to know more about me, this is what you got to do. You take your phone out, you text BizGone Social to 64600. You schedule, I'm giving a free 30-minute Instagram audit because I know I'm not going to be able to answer all your questions today. And so definitely do that. You'll see it. You'll download this link. You'll get a text message from me, and you can schedule. If you see on the little app here, you can, and this takes no room up on your phone. And it really, if you're from around here, you're not going to really have, there's no cost unless it's all about your provider. So you can schedule a free Instagram audit right there. So I'm going to turn it over. So for the question and answers now, and I think that will help.
That's great, Lorraine. Thanks. Lots of great content there. And as you noted, we do have lots of questions. And just a reminder to people, if you would like to submit a question, you can do it through the chat feature, and you can hover on the bottom of your screen with your mouse and you'll see a chat box there. Just click on that and you can submit your question. And so I'll kind of go back to the beginning, because we did have quite a few come in as you were speaking, some of which you've addressed, but there's lots that you haven't. So I'll start with this one. You were originally talking about clickable links when you early on in your presentation. Can a clickable link be an email?
Yeah, so the clickable link only in the, you know, I never used an email in the bio. So I honestly, to be honest, I've never seen anybody use a clickable like directly in the bio. However, there's this thing called Linktree, and in Linktree is the email of a person. So yes, you can definitely, there's like, for instance, even this app that I have that I'm showing you right now, that I have a bit.ly link for this Easy Card. And so I can actually stick that in my bio. And as you know, you can call me, you can text me, you can Facebook me, or go to my website. The bottom line is, to be honest with you, my understanding is you can only put a URL in the profile. And then of course, in the post itself, you could put your email address, but the bottom line is not clickable. And to be honest with you, nobody's going to go to that post and copy and paste that email unless they're desperate to, you know, that they really need to get in contact with you, but you're making them do an extra step. So you just really want to make it easy. You could also Google that about the email address, and maybe they have another option. I would never put an email address, because I want people to go to I want people to go to my products or services. I don't want them to, I don't want another email in my box. So that's just my strategy.
No, that's great. We did talk a little bit about hashtags. Here's one from Meredith on hashtags. Is your hashtag of your company better or the same as getting people to use @ and the company name?
All right. So the reason in the beginning, the reason why you're using your hashtag business, right, is because you want to get people to start interacting with that hashtag. But it's no different, because the bottom line is it's really not going to, that hashtag right now, your company isn't really going to do anything until you're really big, you know? So I noticed I haven't gone to who's interacting with my hashtag lately. I hope that answers it. I kind of lost my train of thought there for a minute. It is the hashtag BizGone Social, for instance, or hashtag Coca-Cola. Everybody's interacting with that. Hashtag Starbucks, everybody's interacting that. I don't recommend, I recommend putting it as part of your, 12 to 30 hashtags, in the post itself. But I don't recommend, that being the showcase.
Yeah, I think that's helpful. And this specific question was, is that better than using the @ sign followed by the company name?
The @ sign is always better, because when anybody clicks that @ sign in the post, it brings them right to your bio. So
Okay.
you could so then when somebody clicks on that link, so the @ sign in the post to bring them to the bio, then you don't know how effective that is. You'll know how effective your copy in the bio is if they click that link, which could be your website or whatever you want to bring them to. So it's still 2 steps, no matter how you look at it. I think that, to be honest with you, nowadays, and I didn't even cover this in this, DMs are a lot more effective. Somebody, if somebody signs up, if somebody follows you for the first time, you want to interact with them right away. But if they're reading your posts and you're giving really good content, they're going to get to the @ sign. And then the only way you're going to be able to track that is through the bit.ly in the URL bio, right on the bottom of the bio there. So it's a process, and a lot of people won't engage that way. Everybody's DMing now. And I didn't really cover a lot about that, because that's something that needs to be shown on the screen. And I'm showing slides right now.
Okay. We have a question on a different topic. Do you have any tips on how to get the logo on the images posted?
Yeah, that's actually really easy. So before you upload your picture, from your camera to Instagram, you can go into, there's 2 softwares I use. I use Canva, and I have my logo in Canva, and I also use something called WordSwag. And both of them, there's free versions of it. WordSwag does not have a free version, but I think it's $6.99 for life or something. I'm not sure of the price anymore. I pay for everything because I'm an agency, so I actually don't know the prices of that. But to be honest with you, you can do everything, and you can even get post ideas from Canva and WordSwag. If you take a bunch of pictures, you take the picture and you put your logo right in, and it's really easy to do. It's really easy to do. Right at the end of WordSwag, it says, do you want to put your logo on it? And you do it.
Here's a question that it's kind of a basic question, and maybe we don't have time to cover it, but maybe just some brief comments on. There's a question here from Roseanne on how do you create an Instagram page to begin with. So just maybe a few brief tips on how to get that set up.
Yeah. So it's really simple. To be honest with you, you just go to your apps on your iPhone, and you type in Instagram and just follow the prompts, and that will do that. And the same thing with, if you have a Droid, you want to go to, I think it's Google Play. And as you can tell, I'm a Apple user. But so you go to Google Play and you download the app from there. And here's a quick suggestion. Once you create your account, of course you want to make it public, because if you make it private, nobody's going to see it. All right. And you want to at least get 9 posts up. So, and I call those throwaway posts, but they should be visually pleasing and pretty. You know, maybe do 3 on, so you download it today. So what's today? Today's Tuesday. So then from there you go, Wednesday, Tuesday, you put 3 posts up. On, you know, Thursday, you put 3 posts up, and on Friday, you put 3 posts. Also, I recommend that you post, everybody on this call today, you should be posting every day. And again, so many things that I didn't get to cover. You're always welcome to, you know, friend me on Facebook at Lorraine Eckert Duncan. And I have a private group that is, it's a social media marketing tribe. And I give a lot of videos on how to do some stuff. And the last week and a half right now, because I was doing this webinar, I've been doing a lot of videos on Instagram. So I talk a lot about different things that you can be doing, and I reiterate some of the stuff I talked about. And I also talk a little bit, I don't think I've talked about it yet, but I plan on doing it this week, IGTV, because that's really important to your marketing, and stories is really important to your marketing.
That's great. We have a question here from Rocky, and maybe both general and specific as well. I'll put this. Some comments on how effective is Instagram for business to business, and specifically for a video production company. Any comments on both the general and the specific?
All right. So, okay. So in general, Instagram is great for all types, B2B, B2C, and to be honest with you, I'm a business to business, and the 2 places where I get most of my business from is Instagram and LinkedIn. So that's me. And the reason I get some stuff from Instagram is because I manage Instagram for people. And so some people just don't want to do their Instagram. I think it's fun, but a lot of people don't think it's fun at all. So for a video company, oh my gosh. So this is like freebie. So first of all, IGTV was created. Okay, so let me just kind of give you a little background here. Instagram is owned by Facebook, by Zuckerberg, okay? So Zuckerberg's goal, he wants to kind of overtake YouTube. This is the inside scoop. That's really the truth. So he has started to make all his platforms very, very video friendly, and they're getting better and better. In fact, now when you post a video on your business page on Facebook, the transcription comes right up, you know, on the bottom. And I can't think of what you call it right now. It's like I'm going blank. But anyways, now on IGTV, what you're doing is you go to IGTV, you load that video, and you can load as long of a video you want. I recommend to stay under 30 to 45 minutes to 30 minutes in between those 2 times. Because a lot of people don't want to watch long videos. My videos are about 5 to 10 minutes. Long story short, if you upload it directly to IGTV, right, it will put a preview of that long video in your feed, but it will say click on IGTV. It does it all for you. Instagram has said, if everybody should actually follow Instagram Business, by the way, Instagram said they will show your videos more than if you just post the video directly on your feed. Now here's the thing, you can only do under a minute like on your feed. So the bottom line is you want to be using IGTV if you're a video company. Very effective. I know some brands that are just doing videos on Instagram. So try to find your competition, see what they're doing, follow a couple hashtags, see what the people who follow those hashtags are doing, and that's how you're going to find out who's doing well with videos and who's not. Brendan Burchard, who's a motivational speaker, he does awesome with videos.
Okay, that's very helpful. Gonna move now. Do you have any more? You talked a little bit about, you know, double tap campaigns, and can you maybe elaborate a couple of questions on that? So maybe you can explain a little bit more about those campaigns and cover up a few of these questions.
Well, I mean, a double tap isn't really, you know, like a campaign in itself. A double tap is really about engagement, getting engagement, getting people to say something. So you can really, the strategy behind it, it's because you want to try to DM them. And I want to elaborate a little bit on the DM a little bit, because that's really up and coming. They also just allowed this you can DM people from your your laptop now and your desktop. So I want to just elaborate a little bit on that, why it's so important. So you get somebody to double tap, and they may double tap, but they also may comment on your post. If somebody comments and says something that's not like, oh, this is great, or you know, you want something a little bit more meaty, then you can DM them with something meaty. DM is great. I did a whole video on my social media marketing tribe private group that you could literally learn a lot about DMing and all the ways that you can DM someone something. I like to, like, when the biggest thing I like to do is I like to welcome someone that when they become a follower. So here's the deal, guys. You know, make me DM you. Follow me on Instagram at BizGoneSocial, and I will literally show you how I do it. So it's a teaching right in that. I hope that helps. I hope that's going to help.
Okay, that's great. Can you maybe talk about a question here from Anne? What are some of the best tools for Instagram and social media planning?
All right, so that's 2 questions. So for Instagram, you know, really what I'm using the most, okay, is my notes on my phone. So everybody has notes. That's where I store all my hashtags. Great tip, guys. So remember that if you're tired of typing, I still have some of my colleagues are still typing in those hashtags by hand. What I do is I have a couple of different sets. I do a 12 set, I do a 15 set, and then I do a 30 set. And I mix them up. I don't use the same hashtags all the time. If you use the same hashtags all the time, your site is going to start to get dead. I just have noticed that I had when I kept on posting the same hashtags all the time, I got less and less likes. With that being said, I do want to tell you that Instagram, it hasn't rolled out on me yet, but it has rolled out on one of my clients. Is that they're not showing the likes anymore. You know, so, but the insights will show everything. So just to let you know, they're trying to get away from people. They want people to engage more through DM. And I saw something with DM earlier that somebody said, what's a DM? It just stands for direct message. So they want more engagement on their platform. They want to keep you there all day if they can. So I hope that helps.
Can you briefly comment on question here on when is a good time or a good day or a good time to post?
Okay, you can see that again, if you have a business account, there's something called, let me just go to my, so I can direct you the right way. If you go to your page, your Instagram page, you can look, you can tap one post and you'll say view insights. You can see that. That's one way, but wait, there's something else I'm looking for. Okay, if you go to, you're on the app and you have the 3 bars and you'll see something called insights. It's hard to show on the thing. So basically you're on your front page where your logo is and your bio. Right on the top where it says who you are. So mine says BizGoneSocial. There's 3 lines. You're going to click those 3 lines, and then the 3rd one down for me on the iPhone is insights. And unfortunately, I can't tell you how it's going to show up on your iPhone. And that will tell you have content insights, you have activity sites, and you'll have audience sites. So the activity sites will have Tuesday. It will tell you sometimes when the best day to post is. It will tell you, you know, you can just look at it. You could just look and play around with that. And that will give you tons of insights on your content. And you guys should be using that. And then just one other thing, just to go back to the last question, because I didn't fully answer it and I just remember that. For social media in general, I do a content calendar, and my months are a little bit different now, but I used to theme them by months, but now I theme them by weeks, and I color code everything. So I'm a little bit type A, so not everybody has to be that. It's easier, just make sure you're just posting daily and make sure you have a strategy behind it. In other words, everything that you do on Instagram, ask yourself why you're doing it. What do you want to accomplish with it? Okay, I hope that helps.
Yeah, just one follow-up. There's a question here. What are your thoughts on posting more than once a day? Is that good or bad?
To be honest, it's great.
Okay.
You know, I should be. Do I have time? You know, no. But if you have time, you know, especially if you're a mom, I find, and now I'm not saying that moms don't do anything, but a lot of times, and it's a little different now, but I recall when I first was on Instagram, I was doing still, my youngest son was still, still had to cart him around a lot. So it was a matter of waiting in the car. You don't imagine, you could imagine how many things that you can do on Instagram while you're waiting for somebody, picking your kids up from a friend's house or whatever. So use the time, like you're at the bank in line or something. You can always do a post, but at least you can go on and like some other people's posts. I didn't even mention this. It is important that you are engaging with other people's posts, including influencers, which was actually supposed to be some of the content here in this webinar. Again, broad subject here, but you need to be connecting with some influencers in your field, and you need to be definitely interacting with them, liking their posts. All right?
We have time for a couple more.
All right.
One from Stephanie. What's your strategy for Instagram stories?
Oh, it's great. I love my Instagram stories. No, it's not what I post. And so when I run out of things to put on stories, I literally put the biggest stories that are great. And I do this good on my clients. My stories need a little bit more work lately, I feel, because I just have been posting. Sometimes I just repost content that I've used before. So my behind the scenes are great for stories. So like I have a client the other day that it has nothing to do with her brand, but what she did was but it is sort of, because she's a high performance coach. And basically what she does is she teaches people how to be productive and, care about all different areas of their life, including wellness. So she posted her morning routine. What was brilliant about this is that her dog laid right on her yoga mat. And it got so much engagement. And those are all people that you can DM later if they have a really, something that you can converse with. So it's a great, behind the scenes I've seen a lot of people do this or that with stories. A lot of people will do something, a little video live. But remember, they're short little increments. So, you want to be very strategic.
Okay, that's great.
Oh, wait, one more thing is they only last, the beauty of stories is they only last for 24 hours. So, and then you can choose to have them archived, and you can always go back to them if you want to reuse. That's what I've been doing lately because I've been really busy.
Here's a question from Ken. What are the pros and cons of using Facebook as a platform to create your Instagram posts?
Okay, I just actually played around with this the other day because I'm actually away, and I needed to do some scheduling. And so if you're going to do it in real time, it's fine. But if you're scheduling, how you can schedule Facebook posts inside the platform, you can't do that. You can't schedule the Instagram post either. The other thing is I'm not a firm believer of putting 30 hashtags on a Facebook post. So I rather, it's a better way to do it, but you still have to then go back to the Instagram post and post the hashtags. So I think it's more work.
Okay. And one last one here. You talked a little bit about influencers. There's a question here from Elaine. How do you find your specific influencers?
All right. Could I ask Elaine what she does so maybe I can give a specific?
Elaine, if you can hear us, perhaps you could type in a clarification in the next 30 seconds or so.
So while she's doing that, I will just say that, I'll just say for me.
She's a designer and an artist.
Oh, okay. So you want to look, again, you want to see who's in your field, a designer or an artist. So it depends on what kind of designer or artist you are. If you're an interior designer artist, that's a little different from just being a designer, maybe designer of what? Designer of graphics, designer of what? Find out who's do not go for the top one. You want to go for the middle of the road. Anybody that actually has more than you is really in their field, more, followers, a significant amount. Like I look for like in the, 33,000. That's just the number I've been using all day. I'm probably going to play it No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, seriously. And then here's another thing you need to know about influencers. Some people, if you want to use you want to try to get somebody to share your content. So that's what you're looking. So if you're like, like an artist, I have a friend who paints like beach stuff, like anything beach stuff. It could be a towel on the beach. That's what she does. And literally she wanted people to share her stuff. So that's the idea of influencer. You want to get somebody that has more traction than you do and somehow get them to share your stuff. And you do that by a relationship, by getting to know them. Remember, there is no easy hacks here. There's nothing easy about doing Instagram. You make it part of your lifestyle by just doing things automatically. So you're definitely being relational on Instagram and engaging with somebody's brand so they think you care about them, and you do. I mean, when I engage with some people on Instagram,
Lorraine, we're going to have to wrap up here, so we could just.
Yeah, I just noticed that's what you got to do with influencers. It's work.
Okay, that's great. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for questions. Lorraine, if I could have you advance the slide. As I mentioned earlier, this session is being recorded and the materials will be available within about 48 hours on our website. Our next live webinar is in 2 days on Thursday, June 18th, and the topic is how to negotiate with impact, with Dorcia Carrillo presenting. And again, we offer free individual counseling that you can see and use the link on the screen, or you can request a mentor from our website. If I could also ask you to please fill out your evaluations, they're very helpful to us. So on behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's live webinar, and a special thanks to Lorraine Duncan for presenting today. So stay well, everyone, and have a great day.